What up, homies? Welcome back, Conspiracy University. As we all know, the government and these alphabet agencies have their slimy little grimy ass hands in a lot of different things, right? In all types of different things, from gambling to sex trafficking to child sex trafficking, all types of stuff like that, right? So let me go over this right here, y'all. This is called the Finders, or also known as the Finders Cult. The Finders Cult, all right? In November 2019, the FBI declassified nearly 650 pages relating to a group known as the Finders. This cult was alleged to be involved with international child trafficking, satanic worship, and mind control techniques. Eventually, irrefutable evidence was gathered by the FBI that the State Department and CIA was at minimum complicit and maximum directly involved and conspired to cover up investigation and charges. To this day, not a single person has been convicted of a crime in relation to the Finders. I repeat, to this day, not a single person has been convicted of a crime in relation to the Finders. You can now decide for yourself whether conviction is warranted. It all began when 6 young children, filthy and covered in bug bites and scratches, were reported to the police at a park in Tallahassee, Florida. The children were accompanied by 2 well-dressed men. When the men failed to give proper identification or explain who the parents of the children were, they were arrested and the children were brought in for questioning. The group claimed to be from Washington, D.C. Of course they were. Investigators soon discovered the Finders had tentacles not only in different states and corporations, but internationally as well. What would follow is one of the most horrific, shocking tales to ever be told in America. Yet, mainstream media outlets seem to ignore coverage of the depth of the classification of these documents. I repeat, mainstream media outlets seem to ignore coverage of the depth of the declassification of these documents. No worries, they don't cover it. I got you. So where we at? Where we at? I lost my space. I lost my spot. All right, here we go. I have read all 650 pages, so have I, and decided to try to summarize it for easy digestibility, although a topic as heinous as this will never settle well. It's unquestionable that people have been murdered for trying to expose details told in these pages. I believe the Great Awakening is upon us, and there is no better time than today to expose the evil that lurks in darkness. Confirmation of the following facts and material can be found at. Here goes the link, y'all. If y'all want to go check this out, right? I could probably try to put this in the description box or something like that. You know what I mean? But there's a link. This is a they of course this is redacted right here. They always do that BS whenever they declassify things. They redact a lot of the important parts, right? So blank, we don't know, has alleged that the Finders are involved in a well-organized child abuse scheme, and that blank, in conjunction with the State Department and the FBI's Foreign Counterintelligence Section, conspired to cover up those abuses. The strange men with a herd of young kids were brought in and questioned in Tallahassee, and the van they traveled in was impounded. It was noted that one of the men did not cooperate at all, and when questioned appeared to go into a trance-like state. Questioning of the children led to some interesting results. A lot of answers came from the oldest child, Mary, as some of the younger ones were nonverbal. When asking Mary what her last name was, she replied, "Which one?" The children seemed unaware of modern technology, electricity, hot water, and were curious to even the most simple contraptions such as staplers. They did not attend school and said the men were their teachers. When asked what the men taught them, the oldest said they are taught how to play games. They said they lived with their mothers, although were not allowed inside of the house. They lived in the van and in tents. They traveled often, sometimes by plane. They were on a trip away to wean the youngest from their mothers. Officers noted that the youngest ones had no diapers on and had been taught that the ground outside was their bathroom. One apparently went potty directly on the floor in the questioning room. When asked who the leader of the group is, the oldest child had replied, "The game caller." When offered food, one child consumed 8 bananas and an orange. They all seemed extremely hungry. Here's an excerpt from a newspaper article documented by the FBI. The children, ages 2 to 7, and giving such names as Honeybee, John Paul Pope, and Benjamin Franklin, have remained in foster homes since the men were arrested. The men still face child abuse charges and the parents a custody battle over the children. They are waiting out what has evolved into a bizarre fairy tale whose chapters include white-robed men at a goat slaying ceremony in Virginia with youngsters holding goat fetuses. In the van, a few photos were found that led investigators to believe child sexual exploitation was happening, and possibly even satanic worship. Based on the children being from the DC area, the FBI was called to help Tallahassee police assist in the case. The FBI then began to work with Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, their biggest mistake they could have made, because this Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, boy, oh boy, talk about corrupt. But anyway, a judge signed a search warrant for the two D.C. property locations known to belong to the finders, a local warehouse and duplex apartment. Police found brochures, photos, books on mind control, indices, and computers. The mothers were found and contacted. 5 women claimed to be biological mothers to all 6 children. They claimed they knew the men well and trusted them, and that the children had not been kidnapped. They also spoke to press and insisted they were in no means part of a satanic group, but rather a communal sort of group of intellectuals. A doctor examined the children and determined 2 of the 6 to have physical indicators of sexual abuse. The doctors also found bite marks, although could not determine if the bite was from a child or adult. A behavioral scientist indicated the children behaved similarly to those who have been institutionalized for a prolonged period. When the children were placed into protective custody, a series of disturbing violent calls were made to the Child Protective Agency threatening bombing and other violence. It's one of the houses right here, y'all, where they had them. Among the evidence from the raids of the 2 DC properties, it is purported that photographs were found of men dressed in white robes holding a goat head, children engaging in bloodletting of the goat, and one even holding a goat fetus. Some speculate on the satanic significance, as Baphomet depicts the devil as a goat in many artifacts and literature of Luciferian occult symbology. All right, y'all. Just a quick little Baphomet. It's not what y'all think, all right? So before anyone starts to make comments or look, they always give us the truth mixed in with some with some BS, right? So they can keep you still distracted at the end of the day, all right? For you not to be able to ever find like your true self, right? To ever really go within and really understand everything. But this Baphomet, it's not what it seems like, all right? So let me continue. All these photos were in a file named The Execution of Henrietta and Igor. The mothers claimed this was done for hands-on educational purposes, and the meat of the goat was eaten. Also, a vast amount of informational documents were found during the raid, such as techniques into mind control and child trafficking. Due to this evidence being found, a farm also belonging to the finders in Nethers, Virginia was raided. About 2 weeks after the initial investigation began, it was suddenly announced that the MPD and Tallahassee police were dropping all charges due to insignificant evidence. I repeat, it was suddenly announced that the MPD and Tallahassee police were dropping all charges due to insignificant evidence. But in the previous paragraph here, also a vast amount of informational documents were found during the raid, such as techniques into mind control and child trafficking. Due to this evidence being found, it led to a farm being found that also belongs to them in Virginia, where they also raided it. But in the very next sentence, it was suddenly announced that the MPD and Tallahassee police were dropping all charges due to insignificant evidence. Come on, y'all. We gotta lift the view, take the blinders off, and we gotta start seeing that the people at the top are the ones who are harming our children. All right, they do not all of them, but a lot of them are. All right. And if not all these children got parents or good fathers and good mothers out here to take care of them the way some of our kids do, or some our children do, right? Not everyone has that. Some of these babies don't ask for none of this, all right? So if I could maybe do something about it, I'm with it, right? So what really happened? Okay, here we go. Let me read this. Let me go ahead and finish this. About 2 weeks after the initial investigation began, it was suddenly announced that the MPD had they dropped all charges. The doctor went back on her word and stated publicly there was not conclusive evidence of child sexual abuse. Local police officers claimed after examining the situation more that it was all just a misunderstanding and there did not seem to be cause to worry about child trafficking or devil worship. It was all just part of the satanic panic that seemed to be going around, and although the group did not adhere to traditional societal male and female roles in raising children, nothing illegal was happening to warrant charges. So what really happened? I will try my best to simply state facts and not conjecture too much. The FBI eventually learned the Finders Group had traveled to places like North Korea, Russia, and Vietnam, which were at the time considered no travel zones, by searching passport travel records. The FBI requested information from the State Department regarding their passports and who approved the travel. The State Department eventually replied there did not seem to be any violation with any of the passports. The CIA was made aware of the FBI and local police departments' investigation into the group and claimed to be conducting their own investigation into the matter, but refused to cooperate by sharing any information with the FBI or local police. At one point, it is on record that a member of the FBI asked a member of the CIA if the investigation was treading on anyone's toes, to which the CIA agent responded, sort of. This report indicates that, of course, this is redacted. This is redacted, redacted, redacted. So this report indicates that blank, 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 blank was introduced to the Finders organization in 1980 at a party in Washington, D.C. by blank, blank, blank. An MPD report prepared by Sergeant J.H. Stitcher, deceased, 1987, and captioned Finders' involvement with the Central Intelligence Agency indicated that on 2/18/87, Detective blank, blank, blank spoke with SA, believed to be an abbreviation for Special Agent blank, 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 Central Intelligence Agency. CIA concerning any contact that members of the Finders may have had with the CIA, blank confirmed that blank, blank, blank from 1950 until 71. Oh, I'm sorry. Blank confirmed that blank, blank, blank Isabel, deceased at the time of the report, was a CIA employee from 1950 until 71. Blank had asked SA, blank, if our investigation was treading on anyone's toes out there. Blank had replied with sort of, he acknowledged that they have had someone working on the case since it first broke on the news media. So here's just a whole redaction, blank, 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 blank. Future Enterprises operated out of the warehouse at 1307 4th Street Northeast. SA blank had indicated that the CIA had been aware that during the period 69 to 71, blank, blank, blank had traveled to Moscow, North Korea, and North Vietnam. This report stated that the CIA apparently has a vested interest in blank and or the group. They have not contacted any of the investigation agencies while they have been working on the case. In summary, blank, 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 blank. There will be no justification for okay, there's no more of that. The leader of the group was identified as Marion Petty, right? Okay. His wife, Isabel, was confirmed to be a member of the CIA for 21 years. Okay. Let me repeat this, all right? The leader of the group was identified as Marion Petty. His wife, Isabel, was confirmed to be a member of the CIA for 21 years. He was known as the game caller and claims to have been a student of life. He taught and learned the game. Just exactly what the game is still a matter of debate. Former members of the group said game playing was the mainstay of their philosophy. They say it was often difficult to determine if group members were serious or if they were acting out a fantasy. Corporations and groups listed to somehow be connected to the cult are as follows: General Scientific Corp. I repeat, General Scientific Corp. Trust the science, they say, right? Science is real, they say. Women's Networking Services, Future Enterprises. Multiple companies are blacked out, perhaps because they are still active. Yes, they are. And if you would like to see these companies and they aren't blacked out, the document isn't redacted, it is out there, right? It is out there. I didn't want to put it on this video, y'all, and I didn't want to. I'm not saying that I'm scared or anything like that, right? Like, because I'm not scared. It's not about. I'm not. I fear no man, right? I fear no man. But every other person that I have spoke to who has somehow incorporated that actual document that's not redacted, they somehow get the thing they get the video taken down or some type of strike or something, right? So I'm not even gonna risk it right now. A formal report will be released when forensic tests are concluded. The tunnels found at the McMartin preschool, the tunnels found at the McMartin preschool, a preliminary report, 45-foot tunnel, 9-foot wide subterranean entrance found under west wall of the dog room, classroom 4, blank classroom, avocado tree roots cut on both sides of the entrance, Disney bag, Copyright 1982, found 4.5 feet below the classroom floor and 3 to 6 inches in from entrance and under foundation. Classroom 4. Tunnel proceeded south, then east 45 feet through classrooms 4 and 3, and north, then east 10 feet within classroom 4. Tunnels were 30 feet wide, 30 inches wide, 44 inches to 46 inches deep, with with top of the tunnel 30 inches under the classroom floor. The footing between classrooms 3 and 4 was arched where the tunnel passed underneath the 12-inch shorter in depth at this location than the same footing 12 feet to the north. Four large upright containers were found in the tunnel under the arc. The McMartin preschool was then documented to have many tunnels underneath it, and the children were able to accurately describe entrances and exits. There were electrical switches in the school that did not work for that purpose, but rather sounded alarm alert systems. Classroom 3 contained no doorknob, but solely a deadlock bolt. In the tunnels, pentagrams were found carved into the walls and on plates, along with 100 animal bones. The owner of this preschool was indicted. The trial lasted 6 years, and then in 1993, all charges were dropped due to lack of evidence. I repeat, the owner of this preschool was indicted. The trial lasted 6 years, and then in 93, all charges were dropped due to lack of evidence. Lack of evidence. But they found the tunnels underneath the school, right? We have to see this, y'all. We have to see this. If they lying about this and they getting their people off on these crimes, then what makes you think they wouldn't lie about a certain type of disease going around, right? Or what makes you think they won't lie about a jab they're trying to give you? Trust no one. All right, so here we go. In all these situations, it's been said that no one ever saw the child abuse against victims, and therefore prosecution was difficult to prove. One final thought pertaining to the previous paragraph is that throughout the documents, many instances are recorded of the finders using threats and extortion to silence dissent. Many people criticize accusers of Luciferian child sexual abuse, saying if it were happening at an institutional scale, it would be well documented. I argue the exact opposite. These are powerful, intelligent, and sometimes professionally trained people in the art of dirty-handed techniques to obtain/maintain power, control, and willingly engage in extortion, blackmail, and simply threatening violence against enemies and their loved ones. Many people criticize accusers of Luciferian child sex abuse. All right, Law. Another thing right here, Lucifer, all right, Lucifer, the bringer of light, all right. This is another. They're gonna always try to throw you off, right? They're always gonna try to throw you off. I don't want to hear it, all right. I know you can't just go around and if I say Lucifer or talk about Lucifer, oh my God, you're a evil person or something, right? So then you can't speak to people like that because people don't understand and people still don't have the knowledge and know. But some of us do. Just know it's got nothing to do with this, all right? This Lucifer, I don't know why they're doing shit like this. Previous members are on record saying they feared retribution from the cult for leaving. Other instances of extortion exist as well, such as parents who tried to contact anyone in the group were sent letters describing sexual acts involving their family member that included drawings of the pictures. I'm sorry. I think it is interesting to mention here that Johnny Gosh's mother, the paperboy kidnapped in 1982, the original milk carton missing child boy, is known for receiving pictures of her son after going public with accusations of a powerful and nationally connected child trafficking group as her son's abductors. She was tipped off by a supporter that was somehow able to obtain an underground brochure, apparently passed around in pedophile circles, and found a picture she thought for sure to be her son. It was basically a catalog of boys for sale. She turned it into the FBI, but apparently that lead went dry. I repeat, she turned it into the FBI, but apparently that lead went dry. Of course it did. Below are the pictures she received after going public with the message that this was bigger than a one predator game. It may be that the finders do not like to be found. I ain't trying to look at all this stuff, y'all, but so what do you think? Are the finders just an innocent alternative lifestyle club law? No. We not having a look. I don't think they are. You know what I'm saying? This is my opinion, y'all. And I'm not saying my opinion is right. It's correct. It's not, but we can all see here that this is going on and it happened, all right? It's being covered up. And there's a bunch of men, grown ass men out here, right? Who always turn the other cheek, who always look the other way. Oh, those ain't my kids. Or that ain't my girl. I don't give a shit. Let her get her ass whooped. I don't get. Hey, look, I can't do it. All right, I won't do it. I will say that I'm always gonna be here for any children out there who would ever need my help, and if I can help them, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna help them, right? And to keep it a buck with y'all, if I could form my own little group, right? I'd form my own little group with a bunch of just tough guys, right? A bunch of tough guys, a bunch of us who about that action, who ain't scared of nobody, and who have a heart, right? Who would like to go and possibly help and rescue some of these children, right? I wouldn't mind doing something like that. But you know, I'm just one man. I'm just one person. But I'm always gonna be here to give the information at the very least. All right. But as always, y'all, I appreciate every single one of y'all who come over here and rock with me. Y'all keep your eyes open out there. Stay safe, homies.